Alright, if you're new to the channel, my name is Elliot with Rickety Ski Reviews. Today we're gonna talk about a ski that I don't really like. It's super popular with everyone. I am talking about the Atomic Bent 100. I was like ready to buy these skis. I was set on it. I had watched a lot of reviews, and that's how I kind of decided these skis are for me. This is what I'm gonna buy. But when I actually demoed them and tested them, I did not really like them. There was something about them where they were like, they basically felt like wet noodles. They were really good in the trees and very floaty, so I think that's why I gave them a 6 out of 10 total. Basically, was like expecting to love these skis and didn't really like them. So today, we're going to react to Ski Essentials review of the ski, and I can kind of compare my negative take on it because they love this ski. Everybody talks about how great these skis are, how good they look, and based on that, I was ready to buy them. But we're gonna tell the truth today. You know, it might not be a popular opinion, but we're gonna share it, and I'm gonna go through with you on the negatives of the ski that people don't talk about. I thought that they were very floaty and fun, but they just didn't carve well, and they just didn't have enough life in them. And I've heard people say, well, they're not meant to carve. But that being said, like Salomon QSTs, Vocal Mantras, skis that are really wide and meant to be kind of floating and in the woods, they still carve well. So in my opinion, there's really no excuse for the Atomic Bents, especially since like Atomic makes the Maverick in this width, so you could still get the carving out of it. Maybe they don't make it all the way to 120 or whatever, but in my opinion, there's no excuse for how poorly these skis carved. But let's see what Ski Essentials said. I have not watched this video since, you know, in like 6 to 9 months, so I don't really remember what they said, but let's check it out today. And if you see a change of scenery here or like a drastic cut, it is like kind of storming here. I've got, you know, kind of my equipment covered, but we'll see. All right, here we go.
Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com. Welcome to our 2023 ski test. Today we're going to talk about the Atomic Bent 100. This ski's been around for a few years now. For 2023, it's getting that updated name, dropping the Chetler. Now it's just the Bent 100, kind of signifying the expansion of that Bent collection in general.
I would love to know if it's because of royalties to the guy, whatever, anyway, just my theory, but it is really weird to drop the last name like that. Guess it's not a big deal, but I would love to know the reason.
We now get 85, 90, 100, 110, and 120 instead of 100 and 120. You could easily make the argument that the 100, the ski that arguably started it, no, it didn't start at all. The 120 started it all, but I think you could make...
All right, it's raining too hard. All right, I think the storm's died down now. Let's try this again.
The argument that this ski is responsible for this new line, and I think among those skis, you could still easily make the argument that this is the most versatile. Also, tremendous value in the Bent collection. These come in at...
What? Dude, what? Okay, we're gonna talk about both of those things you just said. He said it's the most versatile. Dude, you're in Vermont. What are you taking these on in Vermont? That would be good. Versatile, they don't hardly carve. They're super light. They don't have like a lot of stability. These are not a versatile ski. These are a powder ski, like at least as far as I can tell. Maybe they're good in the park, so maybe that's what he's saying, because I know he has like a park background. These are not versatile. These are powder and light skis. These are not like carving skis. Basically, the way that they felt for me, carving was like a wet noodle. You could kind of load up your turn, but then you wouldn't get anything out at the second half of it, so you kind of got half turns. The only reason it didn't get like an abysmal score was because of how well it did feel in the woods. But these are like a wood skier ski, maybe somebody in the park, but not versatile. And then the value. What? Full price, aren't these skis are like 800 bucks. I want to say on sale I see them for like 600 something, but these are not, I mean, they're fine. They're not as expensive as like a Stokely or a Castle. Yeah, that's strike 2 for me, man. They're not very versatile because they don't carve well. They really don't. I watched a video of this like 13, 14-year-old kid who was like, I don't really like these. And I was like, that's exactly how I felt. Is it because they have to move these? These are not versatile skis, and they're definitely not a great value. Man, I normally really like Ski Essentials. Maybe they'll justify their claims, but so far I'm not seeing anything that makes any kind of sense.
$5.99, the 90s $4.99. So kind of pick and choose between those waist width, whatever is most appropriate for you. They share a very, very similar recipe, both in construction and shape. All starts with a lightweight wood core, very simple construction in this ski. There's no crazy additives, no metal laminates, no carbon, nothing like that. Just a good example of how good, excuse me, how good a ski can be with just a simple wood core and a really good shaping design.
Huh? He's saying that like it's a good thing. I think it's fine if you just want to have wood, but you don't have to be a purist about it. Like the metal and the Titanal has a purpose. It creates stability. It creates it so you can load up your skis more. Having carbon like provides a little bit extra, like makes it a little bit lighter, but kind of keeps it from vibrating too much. He said like what? What are you in Austria cutting down your own tree for your skis like Benny Reich? What are you talking about, dude? Why? How is that a point for them? Also, it's the same wood as the Atomic Maverick, right? It's poplar. Oh God, this feels like a curated video, but it's Ski Essentials. What is going on? Okay, these, I forget what prices he was saying, but he's not talking about the 100. Isn't he talking about like the 90? Which at that point, if you're getting that narrow, that doesn't really serve the powder ski. I mean, kind of, but like you can get an Atomic Maverick like that. So like I would say that most people, they're going to be looking at 100 or above because they want something to float, at least on the West Coast. Unless there's some value at the park that I'm missing. But yeah, I'm not hearing anything that makes a lot of sense. I can see like enjoying that, like, oh, it's cool that they focus more on ski shape rather than material. But in my experience, this ski shape wasn't very good for turning, which is what you do when you're skiing. And it's more for like flotation and park. Man, this is the first like hard left turn I've seen from Ski Essentials versus the other stuff. And I don't know, I believe that they're being sincere that they like these skis, but all of the pluses they've listed have been like, it's not very versatile, it's not very affordable, and it has wood instead of other stuff. There's plenty of skis like that, and like I don't see how having Titanal in a ski is a point against it. Okay.
So simple wood core, we get Duracap construction in this ski, so it's kind of a combination of vertical sidewall and cap construction. Basically the top sheet just kind of wraps slightly over the edge, which really increases durability, reduces top sheet chipping and any kind of cosmetic damage, stuff like that. Works really well. And we also get Atomic's Horizon Tech up here, so that kind of beveled finish to the base of the tips and tails, taking inspiration from surfboards actually, and it's just designed to give the ski a little more surfy feel, a little bit easier edge release, greater.
Okay, I will say that that's accurate. It does feel pretty surfy in the powder. And that's like the one good thing. That was the one thing that kept it from being like a 4 out of 10, honestly, because the carving did not feel good. It is surfy. It does feel good that way. But the stuff he's talking about with like the delamination, does that really matter? Is that like a big selling point for people? Also, I took a demo pair of these and they were starting to delaminate on the tips. I mean, granted there's a demo skis and people are pretty rough on them, but like I've never seen anything that showed that they last longer. I can say like Stokely's, I've noticed the top sheets last a little bit longer. But with these, I've never noticed a difference, and in fact, quite the opposite. Anecdotally, I have seen them start to wear out. And then, as far as the Horizon Tech goes, the Atomic Maverick also has that. So, like, it's a cool feature, and obviously they're going to share some DNA, both being from Atomic. But it's like, it doesn't. The Atomic Maverick carves way better, and this doesn't really separate itself in that facet of it. So I mean, Horizon Tech is cool. I do like it. And I can appreciate the backs being kind of like surfboards, but maybe it's just a difference of prioritization. But like, I want to carve, I want to load up that ski. And they're in the East Coast. I should be saying all the surfy stuff out in the West with like the light powder. God. Where in Stowe are they wanting a surfy ski? Okay, whatever. I know people say Stowe gets snow, but I lived in Vermont, and I can say so. Stowe gets some snow sometimes. There should be like a big asterisk on it. Anyway, I've already talked about that. Let's keep going.
Maneuverability, stuff like that. The 180 centimeter length that we have right here comes in at 1,700 grams, so pretty darn light, even light enough that we've seen some skiers slap touring bindings on here, which is just kind of a nod to how versatile they really are. And we'll get into a little bit more of that versatility too.
Keep using that word versatile. I mean, there's the atomic backland. Isn't, like, do these do a better job than the backland? Probably not. I guess I need to ski on the backland to say stuff like that, but like, they're lighter. I believe that they're lighter just on their spec sheet. Okay. So
we get camber underfoot in this ski, tip and tail rocker. Like I said, it's basically the same profile as the 90. So it is a directional shape, although this is a twin tip. So the tail rocker is not quite as long as the tip rocker. And then I usually like to point out,
okay, it's got camber, but there's not a lot. It's like a very, very minor amount of camber. Like seriously, he was holding it. It's like, you can't see that much camber, especially compared to the Maverick. God, I'm not gonna like overly compare these because obviously I love the Maverick and I have some bias. Anyway,
the just amount of camber in these skis, you know, they've got a nice bouncy camber profile to them, which increases the energy, responsiveness, all that kind of stuff. Just makes the ski feel a little more lively. So application for this ski, it's like I almost don't know where to begin.
Okay, this ski style is okay. It probably fits with like the surfy profile of the ski, but he's not loading up the tip and bringing it around. And probably that's because these skis don't do a very good job of doing that. Like they can load up the first half, but he's more like throwing the skis with his legs over and then like sitting into a good position. It's good skiing, he's in a good position. And it probably, this probably be really fun to ski in this style when you had powder on a powder day. But this is not like carving and loading the ski to the fullest capacity. So maybe for him, he doesn't notice that. Or maybe he's skiing in a style that suits the ski. But I really don't like skiing that way. And if you're somebody who like really likes to arc, you know, edge to edge the whole way through, that would feel good. This ski does feel good in the woods and in the powder. And to be fair, the pair that I demoed were 188, which I think was too long. I think 180 would have been perfect. But that all being said, like this style of skiing is fine. It's all fine. It's all fine that he has this opinion, you know. I think the value stuff, I don't know what he's talking about there. But it's failing to acknowledge, as I always say, they're failing to acknowledge the downsides of the ski. If you're gonna buy this ski, you're stuck with it. You have to own it versus somebody who's just demoing it for a day. So I feel like you need to kind of respect the audience a little bit more and say, here are the things wrong with it. Now, these guys are never gonna do that because they have relationships with these companies and they sell, mostly because they have to sell the product. So they'll talk about the good things and then kind of let you fill in the blanks on the bad things. But I can tell you as someone who skied on these skis and was set to buy them, that they really don't complete a turn well and they don't have the kind of spring in and out of the turns that I would like. They're pretty fun floaty ski in the powder. And you know, if I was like going cat skiing or something like that with big powder, I would be more than happy with a pair of these. And I'm sure for people who ski in the park, there probably is a little bit more value there for you. But for me, I really couldn't recommend these if you love to carve, if you love to go edge to edge. And that's what Ski Essentials is missing here. You gotta talk about the bad because otherwise people will resent you. They will resent having these skis and then being stuck with them. And being stuck with the good and the bad, so. I see with his ski style how the ski makes a lot of sense and he would enjoy it. But for me, I want the beginning and the end of the turn, and he's just kind of doing the beginning part, and rather than like waiting for the ski to come around, just kind of throwing them off to the side. It's not bad skiing, but I can see where that style lines up with the ski.
There's so many different things you can do with it, so many different types of skiers that will enjoy it. We've had it in our ski test for I don't know, 4 years now, a long time.
Yeah, look how he like loads it up and he can get it loaded, but then the ski kind of just goes straight. It doesn't kind of snap into that next turn. It doesn't kind of finish. If you think about it like an S, it's not kind of finishing off that S, if that makes any sense. Or if you think of a carve as a C, this is more like doing a J, this is straight, and then you gotta throw your skis around and kind of slarve it, I guess is the right word for it, or stivy it, whatever you want to say. Whereas like I really enjoy a C shape where it goes pressure, build, and then kind of release into that next turn. It's not bad, but to me it's missing, it's like having half a turn.
And it's continually impressive how many different people get on it, you know, different backgrounds, different preferences of what you're going to do on a given day. So many different people get on it and they all seem to really enjoy it. I don't necessarily know that groomers is its highlighting performance.
Well, finally we agree on something. Also, like, I can't see a lot of people liking this. Like, you don't have a lot of room in between your turns, especially on the East Coast. If I was on a ski mountain like Burke, the only place I would really want to take this would be the Super G hills, or, you know, in the woods or whatever. But for a lot of people that have like narrower or smaller mountains that aren't stow, the shape of the ski doesn't give you as many options on your line. So I wouldn't like strongly recommend it unless you've kind of got big lines. Like maybe Sun Valley would be okay, maybe stow, but I don't know. Not impressed by this. But
we spend a lot of time on groomers as skiers. It's just something that's hard to avoid, whether you're going from one patch of fresh snow to another and you happen to find yourself on a groomer. Not as strong as something like the Maverick 100. That ski's got some metal to boost its performance, but pretty darn good grip nonetheless.
Grip, yeah, you must be talking about camber. Isn't that the thing you're saying? Oh, this has all wood. It doesn't have any of that Titanol. But now you're saying that, yeah, the Maverick is a better ski on the groomers. Also, that skiing is a little weird. He's definitely floating and surfing. Just kind of how he has his hands rocking. It's fine, but it doesn't look very comfortable to me. Yeah, this is more surfing and letting the ski kind of come around rather than being able to be like really active in your turns. And no thanks, I don't know. Hard pass. Also, like you pointed out, there is a Maverick 100, and if you just said you're on the groomers most of the time, like really, would you rather be on, if you could only have one ski, would you rather be on the Bent 100 or the Maverick 100? For me, 10 out of 10 days I'd rather be on the Maverick. That's just my opinion, but I don't know. Maybe the Bent sell a lot with the graphics. I swear that's like why people must be buying them, because the graphics do look cool. But if you're looking for like ski performance, at least try the Mavericks. If nothing else, like if you're looking at the Bents, a lot of places will give you a credit if you demo skis towards the purchase. And like I think my local ski shop lets you do that twice. Do the Bent and do the Maverick. Do them in the same width, whatever you're looking at. And seriously, unless you're looking for just a powder ski, try the Maverick out. Try the Backland too if you get more uses than that. But really, I gotta tell you, the performance in the Maverick, it has such a larger range of use, and it on the groomers is so much better. I get that this ski kind of has a niche, but I don't know if it's practical when you're not always skiing powder, you're not always skiing park. Like, nobody can do that. If you're somebody who doesn't really care about carving, sure, by all means. But to me, that's like the heart of skiing, you know? And if you only get half of your turn out of the ski, I don't know, it gives me the ick.
You know, it's not the most powerful ski in the world, but something that I think surprises a lot of people in how hard you can actually push it. Then you take it into trees, into moguls, stuff like that. Soft snow, off-piste terrain. The thing is so fun.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to talk about what he was talking about. I did take them on a Super G run and did load them and felt some okay turns. But again, it's like noodles. They don't give you the second half of the turn. So it's like, it feels really frustrating to give the ski that much energy and only get half of it back. It's very much like a Willy Wonka style, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I will agree with him. They did float well in the woods. In the powder. When I went in the woods, the skis they gave me were a little long, so they were hard, but I could see where they're fun. I mean, they do have a good shape for the woods, so credit where it's due.
It's so maneuverable. You get a lot more float than out of some 100mm waist skis. In fact, I would say most 100mm waist skis. A lot of that credit goes to the Horizon Tech. Not only does it boost float, but it just gives the ski a more, I'd say, intuitive, user-friendly feel in those situations.
I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I would say that that's also true of the Maverick. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm not trying to just like, the Mavericks aren't for everyone. I can appreciate that. But again, like all the things he's talking about with Horizon Tech, you're getting in another ski. So same for the backland as well, so. Okay, I'll try not to keep bringing up the Maverick. But it's hard to like know that there's a ski doing the same thing but better for most things. These are definitely better in the powder, and they're definitely like more floaty, and they're probably more fun in the woods. But like really, where are you doing that all the time? Even like we had a great winter this winter, and like people in Vermont aren't always in the powder. They're certainly not. And even in the West, it's like you're still gonna have groomer days. I don't know. I feel like these videos are a little bit misleading, because if you're only gonna buy one pair of skis, I'd be really disappointed if these were my only skis.
Now, historically, this has been Chris Chetler's park ski. He uses the 120 as his powder ski and the 100 as his park ski. Now we've got the 90 and the 85, so I think you'll probably actually see less people using this as a park application. But some skiers, you know, some terrain park skiers just like to have a wider platform underneath them. That's been gaining some popularity over the past half a decade or so.
Yeah, I've noticed that too with like all skis. Just wider skis are becoming more popular. I think what happens is they're more expensive, so people want to feel like their upgrade is justified. Like, oh, well, I'm just getting a different ski because I need more ski, I need more width. And I don't know that that's the right way to go about it, but I'm seeing the same trend.
And you can put this thing pretty darn close to true center and use it as a park ski.
Okay, credit where it's due. You can't do that on the Maverick. If you're looking for a park ski and you want a center mount, this is your ski. Just gonna be totally fair and honest with this stuff.
Definitely still that application. So whether you're more of a freestyle-y guy and you're gonna go center, or you're more of a directional all-mountain guy, you ski a lot of trees, you love that quickness and the reactiveness of the ski, you can go more on like a traditional mark for mount point.
Okay, but there's people who are freestyle skiers, and there's people I think who think they're freestyle skiers. I'm not a freestyle skier, so it's not really my place to say, but I don't know. If we're being like pragmatic about this, I don't know that the ski is as much of a catch-all.
And get better directional performance out of it. And then, yeah, you know, Atomic has the Backland 100, which for them is really the touring model in the 100mm category. But I'm not going to stand here and tell you not to put a touring binding on it. I've seen plenty of these with a shift binding on it. Not only does it look great, you get matching branding and all that stuff, but I think it's a reasonable application. It's a reasonable combination to put a touring binding on these things. So
I do think it's reasonable, but if you're on the West Coast and you're doing some of that skinning, the extra weight really matters more than kind of the East Coast where you're just kind of chunking through. That's just my opinion, but I don't know. If it were me, I don't know that the extra weight is worth the diversity, unless you're gonna ski it every day and you're really trying to do a one ski quiver. But these skis are they're light, but they're definitely heavier than the Backlands.
So you add up all those things, you know, park.
It's good skiing, but look at the downhill ski. The inside ski is like kind of doing it, but look, the downhill ski, he's like maxing it out, apex of the turn. It looks like it's almost going straight. It really doesn't have a lot of snap in the second half. First half, he loaded up great. Look, the second half of the turn, the ski's going straight. And that's exactly how I felt. It felt like a wet noodle. I'm not faulting the skier here either. This is how I would look too.
All mountain, off-piste terrain, powder, some touring.
Yeah, look, you had to wash out the turn just to set up for the right fall line. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Okay.
Add in the fact that you don't have to be the world's best skier to ski them and enjoy them. Intermediates can get on these things and they'll have a blast, but then you have somebody like Chris Chetler, who's one of the best skiers in the world.
Yeah, at freestyle though, right? Is he the best carver? No. Do you see Ted Ligety on these? No. Michaela? No. I mean, you're skiing on them really well here, but you're also like, the skis are catching up to you. You're like doing the movement before the skis even get there, and that kind of shows how like the skis can be a little sluggish. Let's be honest, the ski has some really good features, but let's be honest about the bad too. These skis are a little sluggish, and especially with turns. They're very sluggish with carving turns. And
clearly he has fun on it too. So the wide range of terrain.
I also hate this argument, like, well, if he enjoys it, what, you know more than Ben Chetler or whatever, Brett Chetler? Really? It's like, yeah, but he skis a totally different way than the majority of people. And this ski is very popular, so it's getting a lot of people on it. I don't know.
Rain and snow conditions that it can handle, and then the wide range of skier types and ability levels that can ski it just creates such a huge picture of what this ski can do. And I always think that's a really fun conversation, and I think a really valuable characteristic for any ski when you can make it.
Okay, here's my part of the conversation. I think these skis are, they kind of suck. It's cool that they have a wide range, they have some different widths, and they can perform a lot of different functions, and I would like to try some different widths on them. But man, these skis do not fill as big of a hole as he's kind of saying, at least, again, in my opinion.
Enjoyable for more and more and more skiers, and I think that's the perfect way to describe these skis. So that's it. That's the Bent 100. Back again with just a new name, and I think it's best top sheet graphic ever. This thing's sweet. The 90 has a similar look to it, and I think they both look fantastic. So that's it. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you out there on the hill.
Okay, I will agree with the top sheet, I guess. The top sheet does look cool. He's not saying anything inherently wrong, but he's also like really over-sweetening some of the aspects of it. Like, these skis do a great job in the powder, they do a good job off of the trail, but the turns are so sluggish, and it's almost like I would use it as like a car. You could say, oh, this car is really good on the track. It does great on the track, it does all this stuff. It's like, yeah, but most of the time, if you're driving on a dirt road, that doesn't really matter. So it's like picking a ski that's actually pragmatic for your use, and there's living in like this fantasy world, and there's living in the real world. And honestly, for how good they are in their powder, they are good. They're probably one of the best, if I'm being honest. But like, the Solomon QST and the Vocal Mantra are only like maybe a hair behind them, and they can still carve. And I don't think that there's any excuse for a ski to not be able to load up fully. It has really good aspects. It has good floating, it has good turn initiation, if I'm being positive about it. But getting half of a turn really stinks, especially if you're gonna spend that much money on a ski. I get what this is doing. I get that they sell well. Probably a lot of that honestly is the graphic, but I think they're very overrated, and I think you could get a lot more ski for your money. I'm not gonna tell anyone what to buy, you know, and I don't make money on buying things. I'm just saying, if you're gonna buy them, you should know about the negatives, and here's what I saw when I skied on them. But that being said, if you really don't buy them, just try them, okay? I don't care what you buy, you know what? Buy whatever you want, but if you're really set on these, at least try them. So that wraps up this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, please give it a like. Also, if you'd like to subscribe and get all of my content as it comes out, I'd really appreciate that, and it helps out the channel. You can also ring the notifications. That will basically make it so that all of my content as it comes out in order will get kind of fed to you. So yeah, otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.